All right, so some good news and bad news in this video. First of all, I finished didn't finish, but I got my Rex 121 knife back, and it's almost finished. There's some things that I have to do or figure out. The handle is micarta, so it's maroon, and then the middle is like chili pepper, I think. I got it from Alpha Knife Supply, and I decided to go with a thicker liner, because the reason is because when you look at it, so you can kind of see it on the edges a little bit, which is kind of cool. And then the reason I decided to go with this color is because both of these colors is well, I like the maroon color, but I wanted a liner that isn't too, like, it doesn't contrast too much, so it kind of looks a little bit like the same, but when you see it up close, then you can kind of like see the real difference, which I like. So yeah, I'm happy with the handle. It came out nice, I think. The shape and all. Just the general, everything about it, I like it. But what I tend to do when I get a knife back from heat treating is I like to hand polish it because I don't have a machine to polish things, and I'm always afraid of heat, transferring too much heat to the blade. But RT Knife and Sword, beautiful person, told me about so Rex 121 in particular doesn't lose its properties, its steel properties that you want, at relatively high heat. So you can grind it pretty well, and basically just as long as you just dunk it in water and you just protect the tip, you're pretty good to go. But I still wanted to do this in by hand, just to try it out with the diamond stone I have, and I have a Trend diamond stone, which is 300 on one side and 1,000 on another, and I spent quite a while just profiling this thing, getting it to an apex, and then trying to just have it pretty sharp. But this thing is like chippy. I don't understand. It's the edge just keeps on chipping. And I have some ideas of why this is, but I'll just tell you what I tried first just to try to fix it. But so I went over the edge, I got it down to an apex, and then I found out that it was still chippy. So then after that, I ground it even more. So I figured, okay, when I sent this off to get heat treated, I told them I wanted 70 Rockwell hardness, which is what this is. But it was ground. The edge was ground down to a certain thinness. So the edge was thinner than the rest, and so I didn't grind this afterwards. So what I'm guessing happened was, they heat treated this. They test the site where they test is always in the handle unless you tell them otherwise. And when they did that, that was 70 Rockwell hardness. But I'm guessing just because of how quickly the edge cooled, this is just a lot more unstable. It's probably harder maybe at the edge than it is over here at the handle, or even up here where the spine is. So they'll do whatever you tell them to do. And all right, so one way of fixing this that I thought of was basically grinding away the edge and then reprofiling it again, which hurt my soul basically, but I did it. So I ground away the edge and then took a bunch of time grinding it back. And once again, it's still chippy. So it's sharp. It feels super sharp. But it's the only thing is, like, if you cut paper, it's just jagged. It's just bad. So the other option would be grinding it again to get even closer to I'm guessing this section right here is probably fine. It's probably 70 Rockwell hardness. It's probably like, with all the properties that I need and like I want. But I kind of don't want to do that. It's just because it's just, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to leave it like that. My dad's going to use it. Once it does chip, which eventually it will, I'll show you guys. It's going to chip basically. I'm pretty sure, just because it seems to be so fragile just from what it's doing now. I'll show you guys, and then I'll grind it back, and I'll keep doing that till it eventually gets to where it's supposed to be. For future, Rex 121 knives. And I'll tell you what a pain this thing was to work on too in a second. What I can do to solve it in my mind is basically send them a blank without grinding it down, and then just buying just better belts and then grinding it here, which would be insane because I don't have like professional machines. Or another thing I could do is tell them I want something less, like probably like 68 Rockwell harness or 66 or whatever, and just count on it being sort of differentially treated because heat treated in a sense. I mean, not that they're doing it on purpose, but just because it's ground down, I'll get a different hardness towards the apex, and then have whatever I told them here at the handle and then the spine. So there's those options going forward. But yeah, we'll see what happens, I guess. So that's kind of like the bad news. Overall, I like the feel of it. I like the weight. I like how this is what I wanted to. This is like pretty thin, and then it just gets big. I wanted to put it in the center, just because just to have something different. I didn't want it to protrude too much down here. Just to try something different too. So I like the knife. I like it overall. There's like little things I have to do. They're just kind of cosmetic still, but the main thing is that edge right here. And the second thing, there's still a second thing that's kind of bad news. And I'll put this in the end. I'll put a link to it. So I was looking up like the differences just because I was doing the corrosion test on H1 and then Vanax. So I was looking at the difference from Vanax, how they heat treat Vanax, and how they heat treat H1, which they don't heat treat H1. It's just it's a different process. It's not a conventional process, but I'll talk about that later too. But Vanax turns out that it shrinks. And I mean, I guess, yeah, I should have like looked into it before sending off the Bowie knife I'm making. So the Bowie knife has a handguard. And so when I get it back, I'm pretty sure that handguard is going to be all wobbly. So hopefully it's not, but from what I found, the information I found, and like I said, I'll link, I'll put a link at the end in the description. It reduces down, they say about, it's almost 1%, well, 0.1% from what I remember. But there's different shrinkage to like length and then width. So they have like a percentage for each dimension or whatever. So we'll see what happens with that. If I get it back and that happens, I'll just redo the handguard and just have to like keep those dimensions in mind. Basically, just do it a little bit thicker than what it is supposed to be. All right, so yeah. Once again, yeah, if you have any questions or comments, let me know. All right, bye.